All right, today we are going to spend a second day on 1.2. You're going to get some more practice on solving multi-step equations, more problems translating from words to equations and solving them. But in addition, you're also going to have some fun doing some story problems. So we're going to do 3 examples together, and hopefully then you'll have a lot of time in class to work together on your assignment. So let's take a look at these 3 examples. The first example is, it says, use the table to find the number of miles you need to bike on Friday so that the mean, now if you remember, mean means average. The average number of miles biked per day is 5. So in other words, here's Friday. We need to figure out how many miles he needs to ride on Friday so that when we average all these numbers together, it's equal to 5. So remember, an average is, what we need to do is we need to take all things and add them together. So if we add them together, it's going to look like 3.5 plus 5.5 plus 0 plus 5 plus x. And now to find the average, since we added 5 things together, we would divide by 5. We want that to equal 5. So if we simplify the top of that fraction, we're going to end up with x plus 14 divided by 5 equals 5. Now, I don't think we've seen anything like this yet. That x plus 14 is kind of all together there. We can't do anything with that until we get rid of that 5. We need to get rid of that 5. So since it's divided by 5, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply both sides by 5. These cancel out, and that's going to leave me with x plus 14 equals 25. Now I'm going to subtract 14 from both sides to get x by itself, and that's going to leave me with x equals 9. No, not 9, 11. Not thinking the right thing. There we go. For some reason, I was subtracting whatever. 11 miles is what he needs. Oops, he needs to ride that on Friday. So we should say needs to ride 11 miles on Friday. So when you solve story problems, your answer, oh my goodness, your answer should also be in words because you need to explain your answer for the story problem. All right, this next one comes from the book, and it's tricky, and I'll show you why in a minute. All right, so they give us this formula. This formula is D equals 1/2 n plus 26. And this is a formula that relates, notice the picture right here, it relates the pressure of this nozzle, right? How much pressure do you need to go a certain distance, okay? You know, if there's not much pressure in your hose, it's not going to squirt very far. But if there's a lot of pressure, it could squirt a lot farther. So this formula relates to the nozzle pressure. So this is, the N is the nozzle pressure, and the horizontal distance is D. Okay, so the question is, how much pressure is needed? Okay, so we want to know N, that's what we don't know, to reach a fire 20 yards away. Here's where they make it tricky. Notice what they'd said about D up here. Woo! They said D is in feet. So in order to use our formula, it has to be in feet. And we have yards. So we need to convert that. So 20 yards, how many feet are in a yard? 3 feet in a yard. So we're going to multiply this by 3. And that will be 60 feet then. So that is our D that we have. So if we plug that in now, we're going to have 60 feet and plus 26. So you can see we're solving a multi-step equation like we've been doing, but we had to plug in. I won't do anything that tricky on a test. Don't worry. But it is kind of fun when you have to pay attention to things. We're going to start by subtracting 26 from both sides. This is going to give us 34 is equal to 1/2 n. And again, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to multiply both sides by 2 or 2 over 1. These all cancel out. N by itself. 2 times 34 is 68. So that's our answer. But what does it mean? They need 68, and what did they say? Pounds per square inch. Pounds per square inch of pressure to reach 60 feet. Okay, so that's what our answer meant. Finally, whoops, oh, that's what happened before. Finally, this says you have 96 feet of fencing to enclose a rectangular pen for your dog. So we're fencing in an area for a dog. To provide sufficient running space for your dog to exercise, the pen should be 3 times as long as it is wide. Find the dimensions. Okay, so whenever we can draw a picture, I like to draw pictures. So notice what I just did. If you draw a rectangle and you hold your pen down, it will draw a nice figure. And that goes for circles and triangles too. All right, so we drew a nice rectangle. This is the width. Now it says 3 times, it's 3 times as long as it is wide. So we can call it W or X, but it's 3 W's, right? It's 3 times, the length is 3 times as long as the width. And if you want to, we can put those here and here too, because it is a rectangle. And the 96 feet of fencing has to go all the way around. That is a perimeter, if you remember that from grade school. Oops, perimeter. Perimeter's all the way around. And so what we need here is 3W plus W plus 3W plus W has to be equal to 96. Well, combining like terms, all of them, as a matter of fact, we're going to get 8W equals 96. And then dividing both sides by 8. Oh my goodness, my thing keeps acting weird. We are going to end up with W equals 12. So the width is 12. So you would say width is equal to 12 feet, and the length is equal to 3 times that, or 36 feet. And that's fine. You can put it in more words, but at least we have identified all the parts there.